This is Casey Russell with Stronghold Real Estate. We're a vacation rental management company, and I'm here interviewing our client, Amber. So, Amber, tell me about yourself. Where are you from, your family, your kids, your job?
So I am originally from Chicago and I moved to Texas a long time ago. So I've been in the area for, probably about 20 some years. I'm a real estate broker. So I have been active in the real estate selling part of the world for the last 13 years. Married, and I have three children, 6, 11, and 13. So, and on top of that, I have other real estate investments besides the short-term rentals. So I'm always going places.
So, yeah, that's my next question. Tell me about your experience with real estate investing before you worked with us.
So I started investing in long-term rentals and doing flips in 2016. Actually, I did my first flip in 2013, but I started my first long-term rental in 2016.
Okay,
And
so
so
we're
I,
8 years ago.
so I've done that for up until this point, and then we have two car washes that we manage, and then I've done some syndications.
Okay, awesome. So, what first made you interested in short-term rentals?
So I'm always like I'm a nerd and I'm always on podcasts and at conferences and things listening to different people, and short-term rentals was always one of those that I was interested in because of the higher cash flow, and then just the thought of even getting something where I want to vacation and go visit. So that was always on the radar, just hadn't gotten to it because I've always been so busy with my actual like day-to-day sales business.
Okay, so what was keeping you out, you felt like was the time and intimidation kind of?
Yeah, just the time because I only have so much time in a day. So that was the one thing was I
Yeah,
didn't know how much active time it was going to take for me to get in there, get systems set up, that kind of thing. Like long-term rentals don't take a ton of your time if you
right.
get good tenants.
Sure. Okay, so tell us, how did you find us?
I was just doing my homework on the MLS, and I saw the rentals that you guys have that were listed at a much higher rate. So I started digging into that to see, okay, are these really short-term rentals? Because I was looking at one in that area for that purpose, and so that's how I called you. And I didn't know that you were the property owner at that time. I just knew
Yeah,
you had the listing, and that's how we got started.
awesome. So I'll jump in and talk about your property. It's here on the screen.
Mhm.
So we call it SCL, tranquil 8 bedroom with pool, 30 minutes to downtown. I'll scroll through some of your pictures. This is your living room, your kitchen. Um, so tell us about this property, how you bought it, what was the backstory on the property itself.
So this property was in distressed condition. That's what I prefer to buy. And so I went out there, I toured it. It needed some love. And my first thought on the property was to short-term rent it, and that's when I called you. And then we got into the process, and it was a little unclear if the HOA was gonna kind of rule against that.
Mhm.
Um, but ended up buying it, got it for a good number that I was happy with. So we closed and started the renovation process on it. I put about 115,000 into the property to get it fixed up and in good shape. And then at that time, we were still considering the short term, but I listed it on the MLS as a flip just to kind of see what the market engagement was. And then that's when you came out and toured and started telling me that it was really good for the short term, and we met and went over the numbers and decided let's go ahead and try this.
Yeah, so I'll elaborate on that specifically with this house, this design. Really good for short term. So the neighborhood's about 30 minutes from downtown. You're right there near the lake. The design of the house that you put into it is really nice, really modern, really fresh. So this is a good kind of prototype for what a short-term rental can be like. We've got a lot of extra little offices and um, dining spaces and game room areas that we've converted to extra bedrooms and extra sleeping space. So you can see on the listing that we ended up with 3.5 bathrooms, 8 bedrooms. So this is a very good design for us at short-term rentals. I'll run through the numbers because we've gone over these together. So your purchase price on this house was $275. Your rehab was $115. Staging cost was around $40,000, and then closing costs. I didn't update that. Closing cost was $8,000 all in.
Close to that.
Around $8,000. Okay, so that puts your total spend at $440,000. You got a cash out refinance loan. So once you finished remodeling this house, the value was higher, and you were able to get a cash out loan on it. So $350,000 cash back. So that puts your total spend around $90,000. Then in the first 7.5 months, so we launched on May 16th was our first guest, and our average income from May 16th to the end of 2024 was $11,300 per month. Your average monthly expenses were $5,300 per month, and your mortgage was $2,326. So that gives you a cap rate of 18% and a cash-on-cash return of 49%.
Yep. Yeah, and those are great numbers.
I think those are great. Anybody that's ever looked at an investment knows those are great numbers.
Yeah.
This is above average, so just for anybody that watches this in the future, this is not easy to get. This is not typical. We also had a couple things. There was a hurricane in Houston, so our demand was a little bit high. We did get a really good long-term renters in there, which reduced our costs. Normally, if you're making $11,000 a month, you have more cleaning costs involved, so a little bit higher than normal. But these are targets that we hit. These are numbers that we try to get to on every deal. So now that you've seen all this and we've kind of summarized your results, do you have any thoughts or comments, or how do these results affect you?
No, so I love the results. So this property is a great performer. So we're really happy with everything. It's obvious that you know your business model, because when we met, those are the kind of questions I'm asking, and you were able to give me an idea of where you thought the income was going to come in, and you were spot on. So, and then you have a lot of systems in place. So we can tell that you're really into the business.
Awesome. Perfect. So why would you recommend Stronghold? If somebody's on the fence, what would you say to that person to tell them whether they should work with us?
So, I mean, kind of like, your business model, so you'll give good advice. So if they're looking and they're not sure, maybe they don't have the property, or even if they already do, then you can tell them, yeah, this will work. No, this isn't going to work. And that way it helps them check those boxes. If they're, high income W-2 and they don't have time to dedicate to stuff like this, then it's better to give it to a professional. And then that way they get better results. So one thing I see in my business is I'll run into landlords that even on long-term rental side, they didn't hire the right PM, or they tried to do it themselves and it doesn't work out right. And so then they want to give up the property and give up real estate. They just didn't have the right people in place.
Good point. All right. Any final thoughts or anything else you want to add?
No, I would say, like, if you're on the fence, I'm one of those, like, I just like to try things out. So I would do it. I would go in, just get the right guidance and the right team so they can call you. Hey, Casey, is this a good property? What do you think? And then go from there.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'll kind of tag on to what you said, because all the systems that you mentioned and all the advice that I give people and all the estimates and all that stuff, it's all based on hard numbers, and it's all based on properties that I own. So all of this business that we have today was just built for our own properties, and then we slowly started adding on clients. So we didn't build the business just to get clients. We built the business to figure out how to make money on my properties, and then we'll apply that same knowledge for the client. So every piece of advice I'm giving you is the same advice I would give myself.
Yeah.
Awesome.